What is our first main topic today?
Okay, guys. Our first main topic is coming to us from Brandon Arts. Hello, John and team. Me and my wife love the original West Side Story and have been really looking forward to Spielberg's new version of it. Just read an article that says Spielberg refuses to use any subtitles in the movie because he wants to respect the language. I can appreciate that, but what good is it if the audience can't understand what's being said? What do you think?
All right, thanks for saying that in, Brandon. Look, the story of me and West Side Story is well known. I haven't been interested in West Side Story, even though my all-time number one favorite filmmaker and the best filmmaker of all time, Steven Spielberg, is the one behind it. Even though the 1961 original won 10 Academy Awards, making it tied for second place of the most Academy Award wins of any film in history, including Best Picture, that it won. And even though I can like a good musical. Moulin Rouge is one of my top 20 favorite films of all time. The Greatest Showman with Hugh Jackman is like probably my top 15 or 20 favorite of the last number of years. We just saw Tick, Tick, Boom, which is great. I love Hamilton. Les Mis is my all-time. Anyway, even though all of that, I haven't really been super interested in West Side Story. But then the first round of reactions started coming out. And I think it's fair to say that that first round of reactions were actually amongst, if not the best reactions we've seen out of any film all year to date. Now, of course, the story of West Side Story is also kind of an allegory of dueling cultures in one confined area of town in New York City, right? So you're going to have multiple languages spoken. You're right. I just found out, although obviously people who've seen the film already knew this, that Steven Spielberg said, oh yeah, there's going to be Spanish in the film, but we're not going to put up subtitles. And I'm like, what? And that's what Brandon's writing in about. This comes to us from the folks over at IndieWire who write the following, and quoting Steven Spielberg. That was very important, and that goes hand in hand with my reasoning for not subtitling the Spanish, Spielberg continued. If I subtitled the Spanish, I'd simply be doubling down on the English and giving English the power over Spanish. This was not going to happen in this film. I needed to respect the language enough to not subtitle it. And that comes from the greatest filmmaker of all time, Steven Spielberg. All right. I have two thoughts on this, two competing thoughts. Thought number one is, good for Steven Spielberg wanting to give as much sense of an authenticity. First of all, good for Steven Spielberg for getting rid of the dance fighting. One of the reasons I was not looking forward to this. But good on Steven Spielberg for getting rid of the dance fighting. But also good on Steven Spielberg for wanting to give a heavier sense of authenticity by not throwing up subtitles. When you're out in the world and you see people speaking another language, subtitles don't magically appear. Unless, of course, you've got Google Translate on your phone, in which case maybe it kind of doesn't. That's subtitles in real life. So I applaud that. Now listen. As somebody who has not seen this movie yet, okay, I haven't watched it. I'm going to go see it on Thursday. Ann and I are very excited about going to see it. But I'm going to go see it on Thursday. And I haven't seen the film. But there is a question of practicality. Yeah. And maybe you won't feel it at all when you watch the movie. Maybe when I watch this movie on Thursday, I won't even feel this at all. But it does raise the question. I'm trying to think of a lot of movies I've seen that have had foreign languages intermixed with English. And would I have been able to follow this movie at all if there were no subtitles? Like, I get it. You don't want to double down on the predominance of English. I get that. But isn't there also an important thing about me as the audience member being able to understand what is happening in the scene? And if I'm not bilingual, at least not bilingual with Spanish being one of those languages, does that not put me as an audience member kind of a little bit behind? Maybe yes, maybe no. Again, I might watch this movie and when they're speaking in Spanish, like maybe Spielberg directs the scenes in such a way that you clearly understand what is happening, right? So that might be the case. But I am very curious to see how this works out with no subtitles, because I am wondering, how am I going to know what's happening in certain scenes? I know, Kim, you heard about this.
Yeah.
I mean, does this intimidate you at all about going to watch the movie? Do you like, is this bold by Steven Spielberg? Is this maybe a little misdirected? I don't know. How do you feel about this?
You know, as someone who failed Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 twice, twice for the both of them. Cannot speak a lick, yet my nephews have been speaking fluent since they were in kindergarten. I'm ashamed. I think I think back to one of my favorite top favorite films is Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa, and I get very distracted when I look at subtitles. And I feel like if a film is really immersing you in the emoting of the actors and the scenery and the music, and if the storytelling is there, you don't necessarily have to get every single word. Now, it depends on the story you're telling and how it's being told. So whenever I watch Seven Samurai, I really don't read the subtitles all that much because I'm so immersed in what's happening and the brilliance in the storytelling, which Steven Spielberg is great at that. And also, it's not like this film is 60% Spanish and
Right.
we're just
Yes.
not going to, know what's going on. I think if you're looking at the emotion, if the actors are doing their job, if the music is a character in it of itself, and if that character is doing its job, you can tell that guy's angry at that guy.
Right.
She loves him. She's jealous. Oh, she likes him. Oh, the thing she said to that girl, she was talking smack on her. You can tell that. And I think with Steven Spielberg's storytelling style, I have no doubt that we're going to not only be able to follow, but then just appreciate the culture. Because you're right. When you're out in public, maybe your friends are talking to their mom or something in front of you, maybe what they're saying, like they're saying something nice about me. They're pointing to me and talking, oh yeah, my dad, I can see she's talking about my dad. You can pick up enough to follow the story. And I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think it's really beautiful that he took that into consideration. I do think sometimes you can overcorrect.
Yeah.
With the pureness of heart. And if that may be the case, and some people may say, that one scene, yeah, no idea what was happening, but you know what? If you think back at the time this movie was made and just how I was listening to Rita Moreno, how every single actor that played a different race other than white had the same makeup, like the same number 35,
Right.
Maybelline, the racial, not just inequality, but people not listening, not paying attention. I think it's really great of him to be so aware and to make that decision. And I honestly think the story will be so beautifully told, it's not going to go over our heads.
I think the key thing you mentioned there too is understanding that there's probably not going to be many scenes where it's Spanish people. Like, we're not going to go through a 15-minute stretch of this. Again, I haven't seen it, but I can't believe we're going to go through a 15-minute stretch of this movie where nothing but Spanish is being spoken for 15 minutes. And those people in the audience who don't speak Spanish are just going to be sitting there going, I have no idea what's going on here.
Yeah.
It'll probably be done in shots. And by the way, of all the reactions that I've read, and I know a lot of the people who have given the reactions who don't speak Spanish, I haven't heard one person ever say, but there were scenes in the movie where I didn't know what was going on because there weren't subtitles. So I just think it's going to be very interesting to see how this actually works out. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this move by Steven Spielberg that he's going to have scenes in Spanish but not put up subtitles? Are you worried that there's going to be too much of that movie that way? Do you kind of believe, like we do, that it's probably going to be used minimally and in such a way that we're clearly going to understand what's going on anyway? Or do you think this could be a problem for some people? However you guys are thinking about this, jump into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts.